practicing law, helping the little guy, but, you know, probably married and with family, I'd say at this point. So, yeah.
There's so much talk always like every few years about like Friday Night Lights and maybe let's try to do something like what about Heart of Dixie? Like, should we call Rachel Bilson? Should we maybe get a movie going, maybe a reboot?
I just got a text this morning from Wilson Bethel and Lila Gerstein, who was Heart of Dixie's creator and showrunner for all 4 seasons. They watched the finale of The Masked Singer together last night. Um, our bonds from that cast are still very tight. I talked to Rachel and Wilson a lot. I just was texting with Cress not too long ago. And it is a show that we would all love to do again. And it's a show that I feel like TV needs more of nowadays. It's not superhero driven, it's not crime driven, it's not dark and gritty. It is just an escape. It is just a supportive, you know, I don't know, warm blanket of a TV show that you can wrap around yourself. And I feel like there's not enough of that on air nowadays. And there's not enough options like that. I think there used to be, but we were one of the last ones that kind of felt that way. So, you know, I would love to see it come back, and I think everybody else would love to as well. It's just finding a home for it.
I would agree with that. Were because I know I read an article today since, it's been revealed that you were Gumball, your Ginny and Georgia co-stars. I guess some of them knew it was you. Like, did other people, like other co-stars or just people in your life, know that you were Gumball? Did they figure it out? Because the judges certainly had a hard time.
It was funny last week. We were filming in a small town outside of Toronto where all of us had to stay in a tiny hotel. Um, and I showed up in the makeup trailer the next morning, and Brienne was getting her makeup done. And I walked in, and she looked at me with a different look than I'd seen from her in a while. And she goes, "When I was in my room last night, I was flipping through the channels. I ended up on The Masked Singer, and that voice sounded very familiar." And I was like, in the makeup trailer with so much other cast and the makeup and hair artists on our show. And I was like, oh, really? Well, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, I've been guest, but I mean, there's a lot of other really good guesses. So having to play it coy, but there wasn't really much of it in my life. It was more, for me, the bigger focus was less on friends or old castmates or anybody figuring me out. It was trying to make sure that the people that meant the most to me were actually watching the show. I knew my mom would never forgive me if I didn't try to get her watching this show. I couldn't tell her it was me, but I told them that, the kids are watching Masked Singer. They absolutely love it. They want to have, uh, a call once a week and talk to you about the show. And she was like, okay, yeah, I'll watch it for the grandkids. So she started watching it. Then she fell in love with it. Then she binged 8 out of the 10 seasons before our season was even over. She'd watch episode of season 11 and then go back and watch a whole season and then watch an episode, that's an episode of season 11, go watch the next season. So she fell in love with the whole format of the show. She had never watched it before, but it took her about 3 weeks to put two and two together and go, I got a phone call. Honey, are you on the show? I was like, Mom, I can't tell you, but pay close attention to the clues and listen very closely to what Gumball has to say. Maybe you'll figure it out. So that was awesome. And the kids, they figured me out in one day.
Really?
They
Wow.
Yeah, they heard my voice, but for my daughter, it was the spider on the mushroom clue because I had done a Spider-Man cartoon that she was familiar with. And for my son, that little snooper, as part of my wrap gift from Team Gumball, which I got this shirt from the incredible team that I worked with on the show, Allison and Nate and Erica, Jess and Anthony. I just want to give them a shout out. But they gave me this, and they gave me a Gumball machine that has the Masked Singer emblem on it. I brought it home and I hid it. I tucked it away in a shelf that I thought my son would never see. And he had squirreled away some of this Halloween candy up there that I did not know about. I guess he went to go get some of his candy and saw it. So he goes, Dad, when he gets home from the school, Dad, come here. And he takes me over to the shelf and he goes, what's this Gumball machine here? Why does this look like the logo for the show? I was like, okay, all right, kids, you got me,
You're like,
but you
sit
can't tell
down.
anybody. And they were so good. They didn't tell anybody. But it was a really incredible thing to watch the show with them. And I got to be home from work for the episode when I sing I Lived, which is a song I dedicated to them. And I got to sit on the couch with them when I was performing it. And there's nothing that means more in the world to me than that. So it wasn't so much about casts or friends, it was about family.
That's a great way to wrap up. Last question as we wrap up. You were in
Yeah.
Band Slam. Vanessa Hudgens was in Band Slam. Is the irony lost on you that you were both two in the finales? And did you, I know they keep it very under wraps on The Masked Singer, but could you figure out that that was her that has won this whole
Oh,
thing?
she has a very unique tone to her voice. I knew immediately that it was Vanessa, 100%. In Band Slam, we both sing a song that was actually written by Jason Robert Brown, one of my all-time favorite composers. I did the last 5 years with Janelle Parrish in Los Angeles, actually, who was Gazelle on season 10 of Masked Singer. And, you know, Vanessa and I both performed the same song. So I heard her voice plenty as we competed against each other on Band Slam. So I knew immediately who she was. And I had a lot of fun with it. She couldn't figure me out. And so we'd be on stage together. We'd go into a commercial break. I'd robotically walk over in my heavy boots and head to the goldfish and I'd say, I know who you are and you have no idea who I am. And she'd be like, that's not fair. You can't do that. Who are you? And she would be trying to get the producers to just let us all know, like, let us on, you know, we should be able to take the masks off so you can build camaraderie amongst your contestants. They said no, but I knew who she was immediately and I had a lot of fun with it.
Well, I mean, talk about pressure. You know, all this time you're competing against Vanessa Hudgens, who is clearly a singer. So, you know, that probably added to your pressure.
Yeah, you know, being in Gumball made it much easier to just focus on the why or the who you're singing for with all of these songs. You can't really see the crowd. You can hear them, but even that is kind of muted. And so when you're in the costume, you're able to focus on the smaller side of it, right? Not the millions of people who are going to watch it on TV, but the one person that you are really connecting to this song for you. And for me, it was never a competition really against the other masks. It was a competition against myself. It was a competition to prove to myself that I belonged on that stage. And I was trying not to let myself down the whole time. And I think that helped with it all as well. So, you know, zero expectations when you're under that mask. And that's what makes this show so special. And it allows you to kind of ignore the competition element and ignore all the people that are watching and just do it for the love of it and for who you are performing for. So, yeah, very special experience.
Well, it was great watching you. Congrats on the finale. It's been great. And good luck on everything. I can't wait to the next season of Ginny and Georgia. And congratulations on the finale.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thank you for having me on.
Anytime. Take care. Nice
All right.
chatting. Bye.
Bye.